Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Jordan Thomas, reporting live from London. This is my first Met video of the year. Sorry, I have been off for a while. Um, I just want to do this video to talk about the Mets and the Liberty and stuff. So far this year, coming into this off day, the Mets are only 30-30, and they're 5.5 games behind the Braves in the division. The Mets just look terribly awful. They're severely underachieving considering that they paid over $300 million to build this team up to be a championship team, and they're looking horrible. Like they're severely underachieving. 30-30 is like being under 500, especially when you one of the highest payroll teams in the major leagues. The Mets are just doing terrible. Like they're so inconsistent. They can't get the consistent pitching. Their pitching for the most part has been awful, except for the last couple of weeks. Yesterday was a bad start for Senga, but overall, it's like when the Mets offense struggle, the pitching is really good, and then when the pitchers struggle, the hitting is really good. It's like we can't get both of them together at the same time, and it's like they're so inconsistent. And it's 60 games now. They got to get this together because it's already June and they're 30-30, which is not good considering they paid all this money. The hitting this looks like horrendous. Like they're leaving guys on base. They're leaving a village on base when they get runners in scoring position. They're striking out a lot. They're not playing small ball like they did last year. Like they need to go back to what they did last year. Play more small ball. Bunt the guy over. Sacrifice fly. A lot of guys are swinging too much for the home runs, and it's not helping because they're not scoring the amount of runs they should. Like, and they need to play better, more consistently. Like you can't sweep a series against the Phillies and then turn around and lose and get swept at home by the Blue Jays. Like that's just unacceptable. Like the Mets are beating the better teams, but then the bad teams they're not playing good against. Like this is unacceptable. Like you gotta win. You gotta take advantage of your schedule. And the Mets, frankly, have not been taking advantage of their schedule. They look horrible. They look weak against the bad teams. Like it's just bad. Like they need more consistent starting pitching, and the bullpen needs to get a little better. The only person that's really been dominant in the bullpen really is David Robertson. He's been solid. He's been nails. He's been the only one that's been really consistent. Like the Mets just need to get better, and they got a big series starting tomorrow in Atlanta. They need to win at least two or three or sweep to at least this is the biggest series of the year against their division rival, the Atlanta Braves. They have to win this series. This is huge because if they're already 5.5 already, and if they keep losing and not being consistent, then they're not going to win the division. I know they're still in the wild card hunt, but it's better you win the division. Therefore, it's an easier road. You don't have to play in that 3-game wild card. It just you worry about the 5-game series, but they're just not showing enough effort. Like we need the starters to go 6 innings consistently so you're not taxing the bullpen because the bullpen has been frankly taxed this year because the Mets starters are not going deep enough in the games. And then the hitting just needs to be better. It just needs to be better. Like even yesterday when they scored the 4 runs, all of them were solo home runs. Like they need to do a better job of getting guys on base and then capitalizing, whether it's base hit up the middle or a bunt or a sacrifice fly, instead of just swinging for home runs all the time because it's annoying to see the Mets get first and third, nobody out, and then they keep striking out and leaving them on, not getting a run, or they keep getting only 1 run out of it. Like for instance, these 3 games they lost, they could have won all 3 of these games. Like the first 2 games, the starting pitching was excellent. Like you can't ask for more from Justin Verlander and Tyler McGill. Justin Verlander only gave up 1 run in 6 innings, and McGill only gave up 1 run in six innings. But the offense couldn't come through. Like Monday, they had like on Friday against the Blue Jays when they lost 3-0. The Mets had first and third with nobody out in the fourth inning, and they just had terrible. Their at bats were shitty after that. Fucking Brandon Nimmo popped up on the first pitch instead of working the at bat. He popped up, and then Lindor struck out on a pitch that was nowhere near the zone, swinging for a home run. You don't need a 3-run home run in that case. You just need a base hit to get the game tied. It was 1-0 at the time. And when you don't score at runners in scoring position, you put more pressure on the pitchers to be almost perfect. Like, and they need to get better at getting the leads in the first inning. Like, like opponents have outscored us in the first inning 40-9. I know it's a 9 inning game, but when you're constantly playing from behind all the time, that doesn't help because you put more pressure on everyone else. It's better when you play from ahead because then the pitcher doesn't feel like they got to throw up zeros every single time. Because even when the other team gets only one run, it feels like the Mets are down 10-0 because of how anemic our offense have been this year. Like, and then McNeil popped up on the first pitch to end the inning. So they got nothing out of that first and third yet. And then Saturday, they were 0 for fucking 12 at runners in scoring position. 0 for 12. That is unacceptable. Like they left the Village on base and they ended up losing 2-1. They could have easily won that game. And then yesterday game where they lost 6-4. They got the 4 runs, but the problem is all of those 4 runs were all home runs. And they were solo home runs. If you're gonna hit home runs, they gotta work on, you gotta get guys on base so the home run leans more. You can't just hit solo home run. That's not gonna do a lot for you. And then they got to 4-4. And then when the game gets tied again, the bullpen keeps giving the lead back. Like there's a lot this team needs to work on. But starting tomorrow in Atlanta, they need to win tomorrow's game. Carlos Carrasco pitches. This is a huge game for the Mets if they want to do anything this year. This would be a huge series. I hope they win at least 2 out of 3 or sweep Atlanta. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening to my video. It's me, Jordan Thomas, saying good night, everyone. Everyone stay safe.